Did this? Sorry, did not mean to do that. No, I start. That's just fine. What I really wanted to do here first is I want to share this link with everyone. And welcome, Robert. Welcome to the lecture here. This link right here, if you click on it, it should take you, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. This should work. This should work right here. Here is the live lecture schedule. You should be able to see it. You may have to log in with your Ivy Tech credentials. So let's say you're on your personal computer and you're logged in through your Google email address. You'll have to log out of your Google email address and log into your Ivy Tech email address. Okay, this shows the second 8-week live lecture schedule. Okay, this isn't the most important thing. At top, it is very informational, right? I'm Paul. Sorry, I probably shouldn't introduce myself. I'm Paul Camber. I've been teaching at Ivy Tech for, I don't know, probably 12 years now. So Math136, college algebra, is my favorite class to teach. I'm not actually teaching an online Math136 in the second 8 weeks, but I did the live lecture series last 8 weeks, and I'm doing it again this week. You'll see me on week 2. So right here, you see week 2. It's Monday, October 31st. It's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone. I will be doing module 2 today. We're going to go over some questions from module 2, but I'm also going to introduce what this live lecture series is and some of the tips and tricks to really help us through Math136, because it is a beast. It is a big beast. So that's me on one. Rinelli is going to do the lecture next week over module 3. If I were to label the modules, module 3 is by far the most difficult module and the one that takes the longest. If you can survive module 3, you can survive the class. Okay, module 3 is a rough one. So good live lecture series next Monday with Rinelli. They're all going to be good, but week 3 is a really good one to go to. Debbie Youst, she's going to be doing a review. And in fact, we are all doing a review for the midterm exam. If I were to label the most important live lectures to go to, the review would be the first, the review for the midterm exam. One issue with Math136, you probably already have run into this. There are a lot of homework problems to do. There are a lot of quiz problems to do. Which ones of those are going to be on the exam? These reviews that we do in the live lecture series helps you pinpoint which problem types are going to be on that midterm exam. Okay, so it really, really, really helps you prepare for the tests. What's really nice is you have a live lecture. It'll be on week 3. It's the Saturday of week 3. So even before the review module starts, we're going to go through a review. Then we have one again on Monday, the same exact time, and one on Tuesday. So you can go to multiple of those sessions. You can come with your questions. The most important part of the live lecture is to be able to get your questions answered. Okay, so please come with your questions. All the live lectures and your instructor are all here to help. We're here to help. We're passionate about helping students. We're passionate about your success. So please, please, please reach out to your instructor, to the live lectures. I'll put my email here in the chat. You can reach out to me anytime, okay? Anytime through my email, all right? Not a problem at all. I'm always excited to help students, okay? And same with your instructor. You have an instructor. I am not your instructor because I'm not teaching a Math136, but your instructor is also there to help. I think sometimes students are a little bit more timid in an online environment to reach out for help. That is exactly why the instructors are there. The instructors are there. They're not lecturing. The instructors aren't lecturing. They're there specifically to answer questions. So it's there. That's exactly why they're there. So, you know, you should feel good when asking a question because you're providing the instructors with something to do. All right. All right. So this is the schedule. The most important are these reviews. Okay. And the review week, we do 3 because it's that important. The review for the midterm is that important. Same with the review for the final. The review for the final is also important. Okay. Now, at the bottom of this document, I'm going to post the document one more time in chat just to be sure that everyone has access to it. You should have also gotten some announcements with this link. At the bottom is where it's really, really important. We are only doing one lecture a week for these, except during the reviews. However, you have the recordings from all of the lectures we did last 8 weeks. Okay. There were 3 weeks, 3 hours. So these are, yeah, they have the links right here. They're links. You can click on the links. You can see the lectures. I can guarantee the lectures last semester are going, it's not last semester, it's last 8 weeks, are going to be better than this 8 weeks in terms of recording, in terms of the content, because we only have 1 hour to cover. This time we have 1 hour. Last time we had 3. So yes, I would, if you are looking for, you know, I don't want to go to Google. I don't want to just Google how to do this stuff. I want to see how an IB and Tech instructor does this stuff. I would go to the recordings. So when it says this is week 2, you have the recordings below it. Click on those recordings. Okay. Click on those recordings, watch those. What's great is you can fast forward through them. You can go back and watch. That's a really, really good source. I will say, Debbie Yaus and Ranelli, they're really, really good at lecturing. My Saturday session, since it was at the end of the week and the stuff was due, I pretty much just worked out problems for students. So you can go there if you want to get a good overview. The first and second recordings are perfect. They're exactly what you want to see. If you want more problems, I was doing problems. I wasn't supposed to do problems, but I did problems. But, well, that's fine. That's what we did. So all the modules have these live lecture recordings available. So not only do you have this live lecture, which is wonderful because you can ask questions in it, which is really, really important to be able to ask questions, to be able to connect with an instructor. That's what these live sections are for. You also have the recordings of the live lectures available on this document. Okay. Very, very, very helpful content. I would say that these recordings right here, they're the best video content in the whole course. So I know there's other videos that are very good. They're very good videos. These are the best videos. Okay. These are the best videos. All right. And then there is a study guide right here. There's a study guide within the link that you can just open up and I think we'll see it. Oh, this is a study guide. These aren't the specific questions. Okay. Okay. Do we have a link to the specific questions? We don't. That's okay. That's okay. All right. I'm going to actually go ahead and pause the recording here. All right. Here we go. All right. So what I wanted to show, which you probably already know, right? We know going into homework assignment 02A. We're just going to actually, when we preview it, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to see it. Let's reshare. Yeah, we can't see this. So I'm going to stop share and then I'm going to reshare again here. Okay. You probably already know from the first week that this course has a lot of homework problems. We're looking at 32 homework problems for only 1/2 of the week, right? Because there are 2 assignments, 2 homework assignments that we need to do each week. The first one has 34. Okay, let's go to the second one. And I realize it's going to stop the sharing. The second homework assignment is O2B. So we're going to preview that and I'm going to go ahead and share it. We're going to share the preview right here. Share it. All right, so to give you an overview of what you're looking at, we have 34 and 35. 34 plus 35 is almost 70. There are 70 homework problems for this week. Now, a little bit insidious of these homework problems, like let's click on number 33 as an example. Number 33 has 3 parts, A, B, and C, okay? When I'm giving advice to students on how to tackle Math 136, you should know going into it that you have a lot of homework. In fact, you have so much homework that you cannot get it all done in one day. Splitting it up into 2 days is theoretically possible. It's not very fun. So what I would do is each week, you should have at least 3 days, but my suggestion would be 4 days where you dedicate 1 to 2 hours, preferably 2 hours to working on that homework. Okay. Because if you do 2 hours, 4 days a week, there are some weeks that will take longer than that, but that is the minimum. That is the minimum. So if you could do 2 hours a day for 5 days, you're getting to the point. Now, I will also say that there's so much homework that you can probably master concepts. You can probably master the concepts before you finish the homework, if that makes sense. You could master the concept before finishing all the homework problems. What does that mean? If you're comfortable with the problems, okay? In fact, yeah, if you're comfortable with doing the homework and you get it right every time, and you still have 3 or 4 or 5 problems of the same type left, it may actually be beneficial for you to move on to the next topic, okay? Again, every student is different. Every student is different. Homework, I believe homework's 20, is it 20% or 15%? Someone's gonna know. It's in that range. If you're getting 80s and above on the homework, you're doing great. You're doing great. What I try to tell students is avoid getting bogged down with all the homework problems. If you're spending, let's say 20 minutes on one homework problem, it's 15%. Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you. It's 15%. If you're getting bogged down with just like one homework problem that's really bugging you, and you're spending more than 20 minutes on that problem, and you go to the next problem, and the next problem is not like the problem that you were having trouble with, I would say move on from that problem, okay? Because there's so much work to do in this class. Sometimes it's better to save the time to work on another problem than struggle really difficultly with a problem that is just not working out. All right, does that make sense? I know that's really, really weird advice, but again, it's because of the amount of homework that's in the class. Okay. Now, if you notice that the next 5 problems are exactly like the one you're having trouble with, that's a good indication that that problem is going to be on a test, which is, the tests are 60% of your grade. Okay, they're 60%. If you're prepared for your tests, that's what's important. The homework's job is to prepare you for the test. It's not to be a marathon that you need to run. It's not a mathematical marathon that you need to run. Sometimes it'll feel like that. And when it feels like that, skip a problem that's really kind of taking a long time. All right, does that make sense? I'm going to pause the recording here. All right, so once again, this is homework. Well, I'll write it out. This is homework O2A. So it's O2A. And this is number 14. And I really hope everyone do your problem as I'm doing mine. Okay. Excellent. So we're going to do your problem as I do mine. It's the absolute value of 1 minus 4x minus 9 is less than -2. All right. When we are dealing with an absolute value, so when it's an absolute value, how do we deal with it? The first step to dealing with an absolute value, the first step is always get the absolute value. I'll just say AV, get the absolute value by itself. And this doesn't matter if it's an equality or an inequality. The first thing you've got to do is get the absolute value by itself. So here's our absolute value. The absolute value of 1 minus 4x minus 9. So we got to get rid of that minus 9. So we're going to add 9 to both sides of the inequality, because now the absolute value is 1 minus 4x is less than -2 plus 9 is 7. See, now we're happy because the absolute value is by itself. Okay. And then the second thing we're going to do is you're going to split the absolute value up. Split the absolute value. into a positive and a negative. When you do the negative side, you have to remember to flip the inequality. Okay. So here we go. I always split it up like this. We have a plus side. The plus side is when you're taking the positive. And all you do on the plus side is drop the absolute value sign. So you get 1 minus 4x. All right. It looks pretty bad because that 1 looks like an absolute value. It's just 1 minus 4x is less than 7. Now, when we do the negative side, we got to remember to flip the inequality. So instead of it being a less than, it's going to become a greater than, and we make it negative 7 instead of positive 7. So it's going to be 1 minus 4x is not less than anymore. It's going to be greater than. I never really know how to highlight that we're switching it, but on the second one, we flip the inequality sign. And then we write negative 7 instead of positive 7. Okay. And then the third step is to solve this. We're going to solve. And let's see. I should make one more note up here. Okay. When you split it up, if the original inequality is less than, if it's less than, you're going to be in between. If it's less than, you're going to be in between. And if it's greater than, you're going to be on the outside of it. It's the outsides. I'll show you what I mean by that. But this is true. If it's less than, you want to remember that you're going to be in between. If it's greater than, you're going to be on the outsides. Okay? Or the wings. Sometimes I call them wings. You're in the wings. All right, excellent. So now we solve. Step 3 is to solve. Solve for x. Solve for x means get the x by itself. We're going to get the x by itself. All right, and we're remembering in between. We want to remember in between. Should we write it in red? In between. In between. There we go. So first thing we're going to do is subtract 1 to get the x by itself. It's going to be negative 4x is less than 6. And then we're going to divide both sides by a negative number. This is a note. Where should we write it? Below, we'll write it right here. We divided both sides of an inequality by a negative number. If you divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, you must flip the inequality sign. All right. So we made a decision. We are dividing both sides of the inequality by negative 4. Why? To get rid of multiplication by negative 4, we divide by negative 4. That's why we're doing it. We should do it. But we have to change the inequality sign. This is going to become x is greater than negative 6 over 4. Now what we need to do is reduce the fraction. So we need to divide top and bottom by 2 to reduce the fraction, which is going to give us x is greater than negative 3/2. That's one part of our solution. The other part, I'm just going to put down here. So I'm moving the 1 minus 4x is greater than negative 7. I'm moving this part right here down here so that I can do the work. Okay, because we're kind of running out of room. Not the best planner of space. That's okay. So how do we solve this? Well, we subtract 1. Negative 4x is greater than negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8. Divide both sides of the inequality by negative 4. We have to flip the sign because we decided to divide both sides of the inequality by a negative number. That means we got to flip the sign. So we're going to get x is less than negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. Here are our two possible, right? Those are two things that we're interested in. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to double check really quick to see how they want to write our answer. Select the correct choice. The solution set is, and it says, write your answer in interval notation. Okay. I always find this, the way that I always do these problems and I show students how to do it is we put this on a number line. Okay. When you put it on a number line, all you have to worry about is the smaller number, in this case, negative 3/2 is smaller than, we'll do this one in red, is smaller than 2. Negative 3/2, so we're either greater than negative 3/2. If you have a greater than or less than, you use parentheses. If you have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, which we do not have, you would have used brackets. So here we're using parentheses. The only other thing to note is if you use infinity or negative infinity, it always gets parentheses. All right. I know this is a lot. Should we, let's pause here. We're going to pause here, see if there's questions, and then we'll start again. Resume the recording. And now in blue, we're going to go ahead and do the parenthesis and greater than. It's pointing, it's like an arrow pointing to the right. So we go all the way to the right. And then in red, we're going to do the other arrow. This arrow is at 2 and it's pointing to the left. And this is what I meant about between. Anytime you have a less than inequality, you're going to be between the two numbers. So your answer is where they overlap. Your answer is where they overlap. They overlap. The answer that they're looking for in the homework is negative 3/2 with a parenthesis, comma 2. All right. And I'm going to jump over to my math lab and I'm going to put that answer in because sometimes my math lab is very picky about how you put it in. And even though you're putting it in pretty much right, it gets upset. It gets upset. So first of all, there are infinitely many solutions. There are infinitely many solutions. The solutions, right? Because the solutions are going to be negative 3/2. So you put negative 3 divided by 2. And this is where you have to arrow over to the right. Arrow over to the right so that the comma that you put next is not in the denominator. And then we're going to put 2. I think it was 2. We're going to find out. I'm pretty sure. All right. And then I clicked on something else on accident. We need to end the parenthesis. And then let's check. All right. Perfect. It gives us some positive reinforcement. I'm happy we got it as well. Now, we are going to select the number line. I always felt this was weird. There are other instructors that do things differently. It's so funny because kind of when you do something for so long, like you just forget there's other ways of doing it. Some instructors don't do the number line first. To me, the number line is super helpful. We're going to select C, which we already did on the number line. See, we can go back and our number line looked just like C. So that's going to be our answer. My advice is do the number line first, and then the number line helps you with the interval notation, which is why you do the number line first. But if you already know the interval notation, I'm not even sure why you do the number line. But that's okay. There it is. That's how this question works out. All right. And we'll pause it here just so I can get set up for the next one and so we can ask any. All right. So the next problem we're going to work on is homework O2A. We're doing number 33. This one says a winery has a vat with 2 pipes leading to it. An inlet pipe that can fill a vat in 6 hours. Okay, so we have this inlet pipe. The inlet pipe gets the job done, right? It takes 1/6, right? So an inlet pipe, should we just write out inlet? We're just going to write out inlet. The inlet pipe fills the vat in 6 hours. Okay. Now, if you fill the vat in 6 hours, what's important is that you do 1/6 of the vat every hour. Is what I'm saying true? That doesn't sound true. Yes, that's true. Never mind. That's fine. What I'm saying is true. Every hour we fill 1/6 of the vat, right? Because then if every hour you multiply it by 6, we get the whole vat done in 6 hours. All right, perfect. While the outlet pipe, there's an outlet pipe. Oh, okay. All right. I'm regretting picking this one a little bit. The outlet pipe, so this fills it. The outlet pipe can empty it. It takes 10 hours to empty. Okay. What does that mean? That 1/10 every hour. 1/10 every hour. That's how much it's emptying though. This is emptying, right? This is filling. This is emptying. This is positive. This is negative. Okay. I am really regretting doing this problem because there's not going to be one where it's positive and negative. They're both going to work together on the exam, but that's okay. How long will it take to fill the vat if both pipes are let open? They are fighting against each other, right? So what we need to do is we need to complete one job. Okay? And the inlet is doing 1/6 an hour. So it's 1/6 times the time is how much it fills. So 1 is going to be equal to 1/6 T, not plus. We're not working together. We're working against each other. It's going to be minus 1/10 T. Okay. And T is how many? T is the number of hours. T is number of hours. Okay. What we need to do is we need to combine like terms here. So let's combine like terms. They're not working together. They're working against each other. So how do we do 1/6 minus 1/10? That's really what we're doing because we'll just add the T to it later. You have to get common denominators. Okay. We need the denominators to multiply the same thing. Look, since we don't have much time, we're not going to do it the best way. We're going to do a way that works every time. We need to multiply the first fraction by 10 so that it goes to 60. So if you multiply the denominator of the first fraction by 10, you also have to multiply the numerator by 10. The second fraction needs a 6. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by 6/6. This is arguably not the best way to do it, but it's a way that works every time. And I like that better than the best. So 10 times 1 is 10. We get 10/60 minus 6/60 because 1 times 6 is 6. 10 times 6 is 60. 10 minus 6 is 4. We get 4/60. Now, this isn't reduced. That's okay. Divide top and bottom by 4. Actually, it's divisible by 4. Divide top and bottom by 4. What do we end up getting? We end up getting 1/15. 1/15. So when we subtract this, we get 1 equals 1/15 T. To solve for T, just multiply both sides by 15. T is going to equal 15. It's going to take us 15 hours to fill the vat. All right. Let's talk about, does this make sense? So first of all, does it make sense? Well, if we draw this vat, we have water pouring in. And the water pouring in only takes 6 hours to fill. Now we also have water coming out, or actually it's a winery, so it's probably wine. All right. The water coming out takes 10 hours. So it's going slower because to drain it takes 10. So what ends up happening is that overall, it's going to take longer than the 6 hours, right? It's got to, because it's draining. And how long does it take? 15 hours. Does that seem reasonable? Yes, that seems very reasonable. All right, let's put our answer in just to make sure I didn't make any mistakes. I'm pretty sure I'm fine, but it's always good. It's always good. We'll put in 15 hours here. All right, So we did the problem correctly. One thing I do want to note though, before I stop the recording, is the majority of problems, they're not working against each other. The majority of the problems, they will both be positive, okay? It could be like Sally is mowing the lawn. She could mow the lawn in 4 hours. So her rate, she does 1/4 of the lawn every hour. And then Steve can do the whole lawn in 2 hours. So his rate is 1/2 an hour. And then you would add the two. See how we subtracted the two? Because one rate was coming in, one rate was leaving. We subtract. The problem on the test is going to have them go in the same direction. Okay. So in some ways, I picked a harder problem on the homework. But let's pause here. Does this make sense? All right. So the next problem we're going to do is homework O2B. And this is number 12. Okay. So we're just getting an idea of domain here. But one thing I want to mention before I got started, the quizzes. Each quiz you have 10 questions on. And the quizzes you have 2 attempts on. So use that first attempt. I mean, do as well as you can, but use that first attempt to get an idea of what the problems are. And then use the second attempt to get your really high score on the quizzes. Okay. So the quizzes, I think, are worth to 20%. Give yourself enough time to take the quiz twice. In fact, my advice would be take the quiz one day, see how you do, and then give yourself some time to study in between to practice those problems that were on there, right? Because you can have paper and a pencil. You can write down the questions. You can miss the question and then go back and learn how to do it and then take the quiz again. It won't be the same exact question, but it'll be the same question type. So that's where you can really get some high scores, is on those quizzes, which are 20% of the grade. That's a big chunk. It's just as much as the homework, but since the quizzes are only 10 questions, getting a question right on the quiz counts a whole lot more than getting a question right on the homework. All right. So just point efficiency here in Math 136. All right. Use both quiz attempts. Give yourself enough time. Perfect. Let's get to domain. So in domain, there's 2 problems. There's 2 things that can screw up domain. So when you find domain, when finding domain, you ask yourself 2 questions. The first question, is X in a square root? Okay. The first question we ask, so we look at our function. Our function is f of x equals the square root of 5x minus 45. We ask the question, is x in a square root? Our answer is yes. So what you do to fix that situation is you set the entire square root to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So we take the entire square root. The entire square root is 5x minus 45. You set it greater than or equal to 0. Why is that? The whole reason why is you can't take the square root of a negative number. You can't take the square root of a negative number, right? And what type of numbers are greater than or equal to 0? Positive numbers are greater than or equal to 0. All right, now what we need to do is we need to solve this. So let's just add 45 on both sides, get the x by itself. 5x is greater than or equal to 45. Divide both sides by 5. X is going to be greater than or equal to 9. Now, I'm going to jump back. Okay. There's one more thing that you have to worry about with domain, but it doesn't apply to this problem. The second thing that you have to worry about is x in a denominator. Okay. Now, our problem, f of x equals the square root of 5x minus 45, does not have a denominator. So x is not in a denominator. So ours is no. Our answer here to this is no. But if it was, what you'd have to do is set the entire denominator not equal to 0. Why not? Because you cannot divide by 0. You cannot divide by 0. That's why you do what you do. Domain is about finding all the stuff that you can't do and avoiding it. How do you avoid a negative in a square root? X is greater than or equal to 9. Now, I'm going to jump back to the homework because I don't actually remember if they want an interval notation. They do. They say type your answer in interval notation. Anytime we want interval notation, we should draw a number line. Draw a number line. This time we only have one number that we're worried about. We're only worried about 9. We are going to the right of 9 because the arrow is pointing to the right, right? The greater than sign points to the right. We are going to use a bracket on 9. You use a bracket because it's greater than or equal to. Remember, greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you use a bracket. And then we go all the way to the right. Well, what's the number all the way to the right? That number is infinity. So our answer in interval notation, you just read the number line. It's 9 bracket, comma, infinity. Infinity always gets a parenthesis. Infinity always gets a parenthesis. That is our answer. That's our answer. That's what we're going to put into my math lab. So we're going to jump to my math lab. We're going to put that answer into my math lab. It was a 9 with a bracket. So the first thing we do is a bracket 9, comma, and then the infinity symbol is down here on the list of buttons. It's this right here. Did I click it? There we go. Oh, I clicked it way too many times. All right, there we go. And then you have to have a parenthesis. My math lab is extremely picky. In fact, let's put a bracket, even though we're not supposed to. Don't do this on your homework. Let's just see what they do when we hit that. Let's see if it helps us out. The values in your interval are correct. Okay, so they are helping us, but your interval braces are not correct. So they said you messed up your parentheses or brackets. There we go. So it is helpful to read. If you get it wrong, it can be very helpful to read because you may just messed up a parenthesis and then you got to change it to a bracket. All right, not a problem. Let's pause here. I know we're running very quickly out of time, but we're going to pause. All right, so we're going to answer the questions for the following function, and our function is f of x equals x plus 2 divided by x minus 4. The first question is the point 5, 4 on the graph? This is an ordered pair. X is 5, the y value is 4. F of x stands for y. So when we plug this in, when we're doing part A, we're going to get is 4 equal to 5 plus 2 divided by 5 minus 4. Right? Everywhere we see x, we write 5 because that's what the ordered pair says. And everywhere we see y, we write 4. Is that a true statement? Is 4 equal to 7 divided by 1? Is 4 equal to 7? No, this is not true. If it's not true, it's not on the graph. If it's not true, it's not on the graph. Okay, that's how it works. If it's not true, it's not on the graph. Okay, so we're going to jump over to my math lab and we're going to put no, because substituting x equals 5. All right, and these are a little bit annoying. It's no, because we substituted x equals 5 and did not result in 4. Got it. Part B, if x equals 1. So we're going to do if x equals 1. So part B asks, if x equals 1, right, what is f of x? What is f of x, right? But f of x really means y. So what happens when we plug in x equals 1? Well, we get f of 1 is equal to 1 plus 2 divided by 1 minus 4. That's going to be 3 divided by negative 3, which is negative 1. So the answer here is negative 1. Okay, and if you have questions anytime, please, please, please let me know. I did want to get through as much of this problem as I could, which is why I'm going so fast. I know it's not super nice. We'll put in negative 1. We'll check our answer. Hey, great job. We got it. Okay, list the points on the graph of f where x equals 1. So they just want us to write it as an ordered pair. And the way that you'll write a fraction would be like, so first of all, the x is 1 here. So let's finish up this one. 1 comma, and the y was -1. It's absolutely okay if you get fractions. The way you enter fractions in MyMathLab is by using the slash, the / where the question mark is at on your keyboard. So let's just say we wanted the ordered pair to be like x is 1/4. Then arrow over to the right, so you get out of the denominator, and then you're going to put like 2. So this would mean that the x value was 1/4 and the y value is 2. Absolutely okay if one of the ordered pairs has a fraction in it. Was that the question? I'm sorry. Sometimes I answer something and I'm totally off of what the student was looking for. All right, wouldn't be the first time. All right, what happens if f of x equals 2? So this time they're telling us the y value. So we're going to move down here in the paint. Part C. What happens if sorry, I hit something wrong. What happens if f of x equals 2? Well, then we got to go up, right? And our function was f of x equals x plus 2 divided by x minus 4. This time they told us f of x. F of x is 2. So 2 is going to be equal to x plus 2 divided by x minus 4. In order to solve this, to get rid of division by x minus 4, we multiply both sides of the equation by x minus 4. On the right side, x minus 4 cancels x minus 4. On the left side, we're going to distribute the division. So we get 2x minus 8 equals x plus 2. Subtract x, get the x by itself. We're going to add 8. And I know I'm going way too fast. It's not even helpful. But these cancel. You get x equals 10. So our answer here is going to be 10. The answer here is going to be 10. 10 is the x and 2 is the y. So it's going to be 10 and 2. So it's going to be x is 10. They just wanted the x. Now they want the ordered pair, which is going to be 10, 2. The x is 10, the y is 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do, since we are out of time, I think there's a survey. Here it is right here. There's a survey, and I'm going to finish this problem, but every single time I forgot the survey. So you can use this survey to give feedback. You should be able to on this. On this session. Okay, so please, your feedback is so important. We have changed the way we've done the lectures based on student feedback. So please, please, please give your honest opinion of these. Look, it doesn't matter. We're slowly getting fired anyway. Okay, so we used to be doing 1 lecture a week. Now we're doing 1 lecture every 2 weeks or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So give your honest feedback. Let us know what we can change with this. If you want more time with the lectures, if you think the recordings of the lectures are enough, all of that information is super, super helpful. Okay. And please just try to avoid saying that, I told you not to do your homework. All right. As you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and finish this problem up. All right. On the recording, we have the domain. So we have f of x equals, what was it? It was x plus 2 divided by x minus 4. To find the domain, this is great because the problem we didn't have this. There are no square roots. So first of all, we want to say there are no square roots. But there is division. There is division. Right? What's the division? We have division by x minus 4. So x minus 4 cannot be 0. X minus 4 can't be 0. Add 4 to both sides. That must mean x cannot be 4. If x was 4, it would be 4 plus 2 divided by 4 minus 4. It would be 6 divided by 0. You cannot divide by 0, which is why 4 is not part of the domain. Now we're going to check. They want our answer in interval notation. So this is how we write it in interval notation. You draw a number line. You put 4 on your number line. Parentheses means it doesn't work. So put 2 parentheses and then everything else works. So from negative infinity to infinity, everything works, but it's going to be negative infinity to 4 union 4 to infinity. Everything works except 4. A parenthesis means it doesn't work. Parenthesis means it doesn't work. So we're going to write that out right there. It's going to be negative. And actually, you can do it like this. Nope, you can't. Negative and then put infinity, comma, 4, parenthesis, and then union. You have to click on the union sign down here at the bottom. It's a little annoying. And then parenthesis 4, comma, positive infinity. That's our answer. No, I messed up. How did I mess up? Oh, you guys see how I messed up? It's a little annoying. It's a little annoying. I forgot to put a parenthesis first. But there it is right there. That's how I messed up. All right. The next one are x-intercepts. So let's go do our x-intercepts. We're going to go very up to the very top. Oh, we actually have space up here. Perfect. So how do we find x-intercepts? X-intercepts happen when y equals 0. So here, the f of x is 0. So we get 0 is equal to x plus 2 divided by x minus 4. We're going to multiply. To get rid of division by x minus 4, you multiply both sides by x minus 4. The x minus 4 on the right cancels with the x minus 4. But on the left, 0 times anything is still 0. So we just get 0 equals x plus 2, subtract 2, x equals negative 2. That is your intercept. Now, they will tell us if they want it as an ordered pair or not. So we got to be careful. The x-intercepts are, and it says type your answer as an integer or a simplified fraction. All we're going to write here, it's not an ordered pair. They don't want an ordered pair. They just want negative 2 in for our answer. It can be very hard to know what they want. You can read the blue below it. That'll give you an idea. It'll give you an idea. The y-intercepts. The y-intercepts happen when x equals 0. So y-intercept happens when x equals 0. So that's f of 0 is equal to, everywhere you see x, write 0. So that's going to be 0 plus 2 divided by 0 minus 4. So that's going to be 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. We get, and then reduce the fraction. Divide top and bottom by 2. 1 divided by 2, except it's negative. Negative 1/2 is our answer there. And guys, I'm really sorry. I hope you know that you could just leave at any time. This is totally 100% optional on your part. If it's being helpful, stay. I'm sorry I went over 6 minutes. We try to plan these things out and they never quite work. All right, negative 1/2. Negative 1 divided by 2, we'll check it. There it is right there. Okay. All right. Thanks, Jonathan. All right. I'm pausing the recording here. They'll never know.